Hi, this is Mrs. Crawford, and this is the first day of our unit on exponents. Today we're just going to go into the very basics of some of the vocab, reminding you about some of the things you might have learned before, and then just beginning one of the first rules of exponents. So first of all, at the top of your page, you should have some blanks to fill in. The number that's multiplied in front is called the coefficient. The base is the thing that the exponent is attached to, I guess you could say. It's the thing that's getting powered. And then the exponent is the small kind of number here up top, and that tells me how many times I'm going to be multiplying the base out. So for example, b to the 8th power means that I'm doing b times b times b, so on and so forth for 8 times. 2 is just the number that's being multiplied in front. It's not getting affected by the exponent at all. So make sure you got those down. So the first couple of things we want to do is just make sure you guys know how to recognize those. You do need to know those words and be able to identify them when we talk about them. So coefficient, this first one, it's the thing being multiplied in front, so that's 5. The exponent is the power, it's the small number here, so that's 10. And then the base is the thing that the exponent is attached to, so that's x in this case. So pretty simple so far. Same thing here. Also even started a different place. C is the exponent, I know, because it's the small one that's kind of raised up. The C is the exponent for the B, the base, and then the A is being multiplied in front as the coefficient. Last one over here we have all numbers. We have the coefficient in front, that's the 4. The exponent is 9 because it's the power of 9 here, and then a base of 6. Now you are going to want to be careful for number 4. You'll notice that there's only 2 numbers there, but there actually is a third one. Let's fill in the easy stuff first. 12 is the power. It's the one that's kind of small and raised up, so that has to be the exponent. The exponent is attached to the base, so 8 has to be the base. So really we're just trying to figure out this coefficient out here in front. Well, you can actually think about it kind of the same way as what we usually do with x. When we don't have anything in front of x, we normally say that it's the same thing as just 1x. Same thing here. If there's nothing being multiplied by that 8 to the 12th, it's actually just a 1 out in front. The reason is because 1 times anything is itself, so they don't really have to write the 1. They can just get rid of it. And then the last one, pretty simple. Coefficient again is 14. The exponent is 0, and the base is a. So you guys need to fill in these next 5 on your own, and then you can check with the teacher later if you're not sure if you got that right, but it's pretty basic for that stuff just to begin with. Oops, not what I wanted. Alright, so this one now, this is where we actually start to solve some of our stuff. A lot of you guys will already know what these mean. I do want to teach you how to use your calculator with this, so don't just jump ahead. You might want to hear this information. 7 squared really means 7 times 7. The 2 means how many times I'm multiplying it out. So 7 times 7 is simply, 49. Now on your calculator, if you're borrowing one that's the one in our classroom, you'll type in the base first, so 7, and then there's a button that looks like x to the y power. That's the exponent button, and then you'll hit the 2 and equals. If you have a different calculator, some of them have buttons that look like this. Some of them have buttons where the x and the y is switched, so it looks like that. And then I've seen a couple where they kind of have like a box and a box like that. So those are a couple different options. Those all mean the same thing though. They're all the power button. So again, same thing for the second one. 3 to the 4th really means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. You can either do it mentally or on your calculator. Either way, you should get 81. And then last one here, 2 times 2 times 2. This is a pretty easy one, so we can just do it mentally. 2 times 2 is 4. And then 4 times 2 is 8. Remember, it's not 2 times 3. It's not 6. This isn't 12, and this isn't 14. We're not multiplying the exponent. All right, go ahead and try these three on your own. Actually try and plug them in your calculator just to make sure you actually know what you should be doing for those. So hit pause here now. Okay, hopefully you tried those on your calculator. You should have gotten 144, and 1024 if you did it correctly. If you didn't, please make sure to check with the teacher because it is important that you know how to use your calculator. Alright, we're only going to go over the very first section on the back side now. I know it says day 2, but we're going to kind of dive into that. We got a little bit of that done on Monday. So here you're filling the blanks for the top of your worksheet. Please make sure to reference these. This is your notes. These tell you the rules of what we're working on. When we're multiplying exponents, we really want to actually add the exponents, and I'm going to explain why in just a second. The coefficients, you're going to treat them just like usual, just multiply them like you normally would, and then you can only combine exponents with the same base. So kind of keep those things in mind. Same base, coefficients you multiply, exponents you're really adding. Alright, so for this one, I'm going to show you why that's the rule, because a lot of people kind of question, well, if I'm multiplying, why don't I do 2 times 3 and get 6? That would be kind of the common sense way to do it. So let's break this down a little bit. M squared, really what that means is m times m, because m squared means 2 of them. M to the third means m times m times m. Now, if I put them all together, how many m's are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So really, that's why we don't multiply them. You're actually adding the numbers, because this is what you're really doing if you think about it logically. So 2 plus 3 gets you 5, m to the 5th power, not m5. That is not how you pronounce it. That is not the correct way to say it. So please be careful of that as well. The second one, we have some coefficients, so let's be careful with that. We have a 2 out in front and a 3. 2 times 3 is just going to be treated like normal, so do not add those. They're just coefficients. 2 times 3 is 6. Nothing new or different with that. We've got this d that's by itself, which really is the same thing as d to the first and d to the 5th. If you need to write it out like I kind of did over here, go for it. Otherwise, just use the trick we talked about here. When you're multiplying, you're really adding. Well, what's 1 plus 5? That would be d to the 6. Do not get rid of that variable. You still have to take that along with you, and then that's your final answer. All right, the last one for this one before you guys kind of tackle the ones on your own. Again, you've got some coefficients out in front. The 4 and the 5 are both coefficients. You treat those just like normal, so it's multiplication, so 4 times 5 is 20. Now you can only combine things with the same variable. So I've got x to the 3rd here, and I've got x to the 5th here. Okay, well 3 plus 5, because remember if I'm multiplying I'm really adding. 3 plus 5 means it's x to the 8th power. Okay, the last group we have is the y's, and again I can't put x's and y's together, so it's just going to stay x to the 8th. This is really y to the 1st, and this is y to the 3rd. Well, what's 1 plus 3? That means we're going to have y to the 4th power. Alright, the remaining 3 problems you guys are going to try. It's a good practice for you, and then there's also a separate yellow worksheet where you will work on the whole page after you view the next lesson as well.